Welcome to The Secret Life of Therapist. I'm your host, Dr. Habiba Zaman. I have Kaylan Maloney with us again,
Yes, we're
licensed
back.
professional therapist.
Yeah.
And it's been a day.
Yeah.
It's been a day with technology.
Woo. Yeah.
Day, 2 days, 3 days. Again,
Yeah.
everyone that knows me, no one's surprised. Especially not my children.
It just doesn't get any easier. It's supposed to be easier. It's not easier.
And I want to be like, and I did say this, I'm not that old.
No, you're not. You're not. I'm not. But it's just like, when did this become so? Why is this not working? Just it should be like this 1 click, 2 click thing, and it's not. And then it ends up being like, oh, it's the wrong platform. Why do I? 1 click, guys. We're trying to just move it. Okay,
So
that's it.
We've been struggling. We've been struggling today. I've been struggling all week, and yeah, it's just it's hilarious because we rely so heavily on technology.
Yes.
And technology and I are not friends.
No.
Not friends.
No.
Not.
We were at one point.
And then it just. I was ever.
I was pretty good with it for a while. And then eventually it just like I think just sped up way too fast or something just changed like overnight. And then I just like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Just bring back the floppy disk for me and I'm set.
Well, and this is I explained this to my son yesterday night at like 1 a.m. almost.
Okay.
Yes. Because I was trying to get these files uploaded onto the computer. And about 17 years ago, because that's the time that I referenced it.
Yes.
All you had to do was stick your cable into your phone and attach it to the computer, and it's an external drive. You open the external drive, and the file is there. Bam! And I was like, and I did the same, and it wouldn't. I couldn't find it. It wasn't there.
Yep.
And then tried it with the MacBook, connected it to the MacBook, and then it's coming up as a picture instead of the entire film.
Yeah.
What is that? And then it won't go on the drive, and then it won't do this, and it won't do that. And
you get these devices like I have multiple Apple devices with the understanding that it will be this seamlessly streamlined practice for whatever you want to do. And it's good if you have like a Word document in your iCloud. Like it's cute there, but anything more than that, no. There's still a process you still have to figure out.
But even that we talked about, my iCloud is not syncing from one device to the next.
It is not, no. So
it's uploading it on one over there, and then it'll upload it on the other one over here.
Yes.
But you can't jump from device to device.
No.
Even though it shows that it's synced and backed up.
Especially if you're trying to do Mac and PC. It's not happening. Yeah. So even though again we have this cloud, this mystical cloud where everything just flows right in there. But it's not flowing.
And the frustrations of almost 2 weeks of figuring out the coding mess. I can't seem to figure out the coding thing. Got help from MailChimp and everything. 3 different times they were like, try this one instead, try this one instead, try this one instead. And I've done it. And then with these things, and then with the evaluations and everything, she was laughing at me earlier because she was like, you're about to call it quits. And I was just like, you would think so. When there's that much frustration, you usually just throw your hands up in the air and just fuck this shit.
Yeah, the average person would, but we do not.
I'm not one of those. I'm so stubborn.
Yeah, I'm really, again, we're saying the thing, not doing the thing. So I will say,
yes,
hey, take a break.
Give it a break, come back, find it the next day.
Will, to the brink of death, just keep going. Like, I'm going to get it.
Which is why it was 1 a.m. and I'm just like hissing at my computer.
Yeah.
And my son comes in, he's like, why are you not in bed?
Yeah.
Like, it's way past your bedtime.
Because it's like, I know I can do this. I know I can. It's like right there. I'm right there. And
I won't sleep if it's not done.
I won't.
I will not sleep because it's an open loop in my mind.
I'll take a nap. Like, and then I'll wake up like, oh, I didn't try this. And I'm like, immediately to try it again.
I mean, the neuroses with us therapists is real.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunately. But
some people say it's OCD. I might have.
It might look like a duck. Doesn't mean it's a duck, though. Okay.
I have the tendencies when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
But I do think it's you won't take me down.
Yeah, it's really more that.
Mentality.
And that's why I don't align myself with that. Because it's not the same. The intention and the motivation is you will not defeat me because I know I'm doing this.
Like,
I don't know.
And then the logic part of it, I am way more of a logical person than I am an emotional one. But and when the logic ain't logicking, it has to. It has to make sense.
Yeah.
Like, why will this not work?
Yeah.
I have asked Google. Google said, do this, this, and this. I'm doing this, this, and this. Why are you not working? You know? And I do think my downfall in life, period, is that mentality.
Yeah.
It's the same with friendships. It's the same with romantic relationships. It's the same with professional relationships.
Yeah.
It should be this, 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 and this. Why is it not this, this, and this?
Oh
I have tried this, this, and this, and this.
Yes.
And it's still not performing as it should.
That's right into what we're into today. Accepting as what it is. That is so to the T. Even I nearly dropped out of graduate school. I was at the dead end. I think I had like a few months left. I was over it. I'm like, this is not supposed to be happening this way. It should be. And my dad's just like, just stay the course. I'm like, stay the course. I'm crying every day. This sucks. It was just, everything was just da 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 da. And especially with friendships. I've lost friends, and within like the past, maybe 3 years or so. And it's been, or even become more distant, haven't had more boundaries or whatever with family. And it's been so crushing, because the thought is like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And for me, it's not intentional. So it's not like, okay, I'm going to do this today to make sure I do this. It's just natural and genuine. So when I think back, I'm like, what am I doing so wrong here that this relationship is not functioning as healthy or as good as it should be functioning? And after, all the honeymoon stage and whatever it is, when you get to like the root of it, you've been friends 5 years, 10 years, or it's your family member forever. You reach a point in your life and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
And then you're, oh my gosh, what happened? But nothing happened. It's been the same. You might have changed. So I've noticed for myself, I've changed.
It's your growth.
So I'm no longer with that. It's just not the same. So it's not the same as in how it functions, but it's not necessarily bad either. It's just, I just had a client the other day talk to me about a sudden end of a friend, just overnight dead after like a few years. And it's just sometimes things will happen in life that will make your life go as it's supposed to go, and you can't carry everything with you wherever you're going. And then there are some things that's a part of us as we're growing. Some things or some people or relationships will not be the same. So I always tell people, if you ever have someone that says, I've always been the same, you need to run away immediately.
Yes, because that means you have no self-awareness and you have no capacity for growth.
And you don't want to do it. There's no way you're going to have any relationship. And when I conceptualize it with my clients, I'm like, for girls, we like the teddy bears and the cutesy things in like middle school and high school. But when you're grown, I need some real shit. That teddy bear shit, that's over. I need something a little bit more than just like the da-da-da. So you're not going to even like the same things as you did when you were younger or in a different time in your life. And that's fine.
Now, I will say, there's a difference between characteristics, right? Personal characteristics. That's different from behaviors.
Yes.
And we're talking about people who behave a certain way that's not part of their innate characteristics. Example. That's a lot of words.
Yeah. Let's break it down a little bit.
So the example, and I give this to my clients, and I laugh every time, because it doesn't matter how new they are.
Yeah.
Right? As in like 5-6 sessions in. And they want to be somebody other than what they are.
Yes.
And there are certain things that, like I said, there's a difference between behaviors that we're doing that are unhealthy or healthy or whatever versus who we are as people. And I tell them, like, can you expect me to be chill? Would you use chill as a way to describe me as a human?
Right.
No. Right? Like, there's just, that's not who I am. I am loud. I am loud when I'm happy. I'm loud when I'm excited. I'm loud when I'm angry. I'm loud when I'm sad. My sadness is also very, very loud. No matter how much I try to hide it, you can feel it coming off of my body. I'm a brown person. I'm loud. It is what it is. You know? So for someone to say you need to be quieter, I could, sure. I could do that in bite-sized pieces. I can do that in front of an attorney. I can do that in front of a judge. I can do that in front of maybe an officer when I'm in trouble, to just calm it down for a moment. But people who are in my life regularly, that's not a facade I can keep up, because it's not naturally who I am.
Yeah.
Right? There has been a time I got a video yesterday of one of my long-term childhood friends, or childhood as in like early college, and she gave an example of when she showed up at this door. Right? She moved away, far away, and so we see each other once every couple of years, and I hadn't seen her for about a year. And she pulled up. I was excited. I opened the door and she was like, what's wrong with you? And she's very passive, very gentle, very motherly. She was not at that point.
Yeah.
She was like, what happened to you? And I was like, nothing. I was working, whatever. And she's like, no, you are dead in the eyes. I was like, will you just get in? She's at the doorstep.
Yeah.
Doing all of this.
Immediately can see it.
But that's what happens, right? If you try to dumb down certain parts of who you are naturally, you will become dead in the eyes, because the things that give you that essence, that spark, that aliveness of whoever you are, whatever that is, it goes away.
Yeah.
Because you can't sustain that without losing yourself in the process. That is very, very different than what we are talking about right now, with people saying, well, this is just how I am. When they're refusing to change a behavior.
Just like breaking the table. I just want to just break whatever you're used to doing, because this is absolutely completely wrong. Okay, this is just how you are. Cool. Again, do you want to be constipated for the rest of your life? Well, you have to change something. You cannot just be like, there just has, and a lot of that, to your point of clients coming in, they essentially want to change, you want to be different. And then at the same time, but that's just who I am. Okay, do you want to change or not?
Right.
What are we doing right here? And again, you're
like
not
people
going to be.
When people say I'm a people pleaser, yes, I've been a doormat for the majority of my life. We were conditioned to be this way. It's part of my culture. It's part of being a woman. It's part of society, where we're supposed to go through life being the nurturing, the kind one, the sweet one, the soft one, the yes woman, right? Because then you're the good girl. Learned that from childhood, kept it going through life, and I had to work really, really hard to unlearn it. Yeah. But again, those are behaviors. It's not people pleasing. It's called codependency. You know, I actually tell my clients, like, what is your favorite C word? They're like, oh my God, everybody. Yeah. Codependent. Yes. Yeah. But again, right? It's just, that is so deeply ingrained in you. It's very, very hard to get out of. It's very, very difficult to unlearn, but it can be done. Yeah. And it requires incessant awareness and practice, and sitting and being uncomfortable because of all the things we believe about ourselves when we decide to stand for something. And that's an excuse that people use. I'm just a people pleaser. But then being upset and hurt that people are still using you.
Or that you're not as close to people as you want to be, or you're just not getting things in life that you want. Well, what is the theme here? Right. Where are we looking at as the common denominator? And again, sometimes it can be a majority of like external factors. Maybe it's situations or people, but also you're still involved in that though. You're still a sinner. So even if it's like, I just continue to get people who use me, okay, well, yeah, they shouldn't be using you, but also, like, why do you keep having those people around? Like, what's going on where they are constantly in your life? Right. And it's not like we're out there, hey, come find me. It's the actions that we do, the behaviors that we have. Forehead.
It's in our energy.
It's just there. And so to make that change, you have to be aware that you have that behavior or behaviors that allow for those type of relationships to come into your life.
Because I do think if you are accustomed to reading people, if we were to go on the subway, we could pick out who we would be able to manipulate, who we would be able to get to help us, who would protect us, who would harm us.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't mean by the way they look. Not at all.
No.
Because I look like I would step, but I would.
I was going to say, I know where you're going, but no.
Nah, that didn't work. Mm-mm. But, you know, whatever. It's the energy that they give, right? You know who can be helpful and who wouldn't. There are situations where I do have fuck off stamped on my forehead, and that's because I don't want any part of my energy that's welcoming a conversation or an invitation or anything. We used to take the train to downtown with the kids because my sons, at both of them at different stages in life, were obsessed with trains, obsessed. And one of my girlfriends at the time, she is 5'11".
Oh,
okay, 5'11".
Wow.
I'm 5 foot almost 3. Okay, and she would sit down with the kids and have me be on the outside standing because and I was just like, girl, if anyone's intimidating looking, it would be you. And she's like, oh no. She's like, every part of your body when you leave your car screams, don't try me.
Yeah.
But that was my protective nature. Versus we would go to Barnes and Nobles and I'm sitting there and the kids are playing with the trains again, and I'm reading or trying to while watching and encouraging them. And then there's other children around, and the mothers and fathers a lot of times that were there with their children would be like, I really need to run to the restroom. Can I leave my child with you?
Yeah.
You don't know me
at all.
I could take your baby
right
and be like, oh, look, I have another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have any daughters. I have one now.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously I'm not that person and I didn't, but they sense that about me as well.
Yes.
So when you are out and about subconsciously, you're picking up on those, and there are people who are used to reading people, using people, manipulating people, who look for what is your energy giving off, what is the vibe that you have that's giving off.
Yeah.
And the helpers, people in the helping profession, easily, teachers, mental health counselors, doctors, whatever, nurses, they're the ones that keep falling into this trap of being in these relationships where they're constantly giving and they're not getting it back.
Yes, it's literally just pollen to the bees. It's just such an immediate attraction on both ends. The taker and the giver is instant magnetic. And a part of it, I think, from a giver perspective, we're not, I don't even think the takers, I don't even think in their head, because most times people are not malicious most times. So I don't think in their mind it's like, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna abuse her. Most times it's like they're just, that's how they got through life. You have some people who just get through life in that way. As the giver, the whole perception is different. I can help them, I can assist them, I can help them to get back on their feet or whatever, completely ignoring that this taker is not looking to get back on their feet. They're looking for you to carry them. So by the time you recognize that, your resources are like nearly depleted. Whether it be your money, your own energy, your time, whatever, your resources are little to none, but you're constantly giving in this effort of change of, I'm going to get you to do this thing. It's okay. We're going to get there. We're going to do it. And you're just draining instead of seeing it for where it is.
A very simplified explanation of that I give, because that's what I learned that I was doing, is if I love you hard enough, maybe you'll love me.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and that's with everyone. That's with friendships, that's with romantic relationships. If I'm there for you, if I am there in all the ways that I want to make sure you are loved, you are provided for, you are taken care of. If I do all of that, then maybe you'll give it back too. Because again, right, if I plug this into this and that into that, it should work.
It should work. God damn it.
But then it doesn't.
It's not.
And then it's heartbreaking and disappointing. And so many people say, well, then if you saw that and you were disappointed, why didn't you just leave? Because of hope.
Yeah.
we still have hope
Mm-hmm.
that, because it's not all the time that they take.
Mm-hmm.
there are moments when they do give, and we're like,
Yes.
there it is.
Yes. You know you could
There's
do
an
it.
example,
There you
and there's
go.
an
Just a
example.
little bit more.
And so you just sit around waiting for them. It becomes
Yeah.
almost an addiction.
Yeah.
That high that we get when they finally meet that need, because it does. It sets off the oxytocin, the dopamine,
Yes.
all of the good stuff, right, for the bonding chemical.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a bottomless pit of need for that, right? Or I call it the love bucket, right? Everybody has a love bucket. Some
Mm-hmm.
people's love buckets have holes in them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Based on their childhood experiences. Mine had holes in mine. And so I was giving, 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 and hoping that I would also get that love that I didn't have,
Yeah.
and that sense of belonging and all of that. And starving because it wasn't there to begin with, but
Yeah.
then also the people I was choosing are not naturally capable of giving that.
Yes. But that's
So
what we're familiar with, which is why we have the chase, and that's a part of that kind of like a addictive like behavior where we just keep doing the thing knowing that it's going to be just as probably as dead end. But the other part of knowing that sense of hope within the Christian religion, I'm not sure if it's other religions as well, but then the Christian religion, and one of the big things that are discussed with hope and faith is this mustard seed analogy within the story. And this mustard seed is like the smallest seed there is. And essentially, the understanding is if you have just this amount of faith, everything's gonna be fine. You just have to have this little bit of faith. So if you're there with that, when you apply it to just everyday life and your relationships, the thought is the same. Because not only like spirituality, you like in religion, you can't see the thing, you can't see the faith, you can't see the hope. But in relationships, I can see it because, like you said, you're doing a little bit. So if enough crumbs come, then there has to be a loaf of bread coming. Like there has to
somewhere,
be there,
right?
because you have some crumbs. But a lot of times, that's all that there is.
Or experiences. In the beginning, it was there.
Yes.
I fell for you.
Yes.
Even in friendships, right?
Yes.
Our friendships, we had that. We had all of this togetherness, understanding, connection.
And not in the sense of love bombing, just a complete, genuine relationship.
It was there. And then why is it not?
Yep.
So then you chase after that to get it back to what you knew of status quo.
Yeah. I think another reason why it's very difficult to let go of it, even though you might have come to like your own realization and this is just what it is. I think another reason it's difficult to let that go, aside from like the people pleasing and the codependency, is like we don't want to believe the person that we have this relationship with is really that way. Mm-hmm. So we're really hoping that they're just having a bad day or like a bad couple of years or something is going on where you're not actually this way, because I would not actively choose someone like this to be a part of my life.
And that's the other part of it. What does it say about you?
Yes.
If this fell apart, right? So staying, hoping that it'll make it work, and that way you can erase all the bad with, and then just rewrite it with, see, it worked out at the end.
Yeah,
it worked out in the end. Now just persevere and it'll work out at the end.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Hey. There are certain things that works with, but not everything.
I feel like people ain't one of them things. I'm sorry, I'm very country. Sometimes it's just not one of those things.
People are definitely not
very, very, very few. And so going back to like before we talked about blueprint, I think in our first episode, and just childhood, I think when we see it in children, we're like, you need to get a child's attention. It's the same in adulthood. The child is going to throw the tantrum. The adult will throw the tantrum. The child is going to jump off the monkey bars to do the most that they can get your attention for or whatever, because the idea is still, I still need the love.
Yeah.
So if we don't have it, or we don't have it in the way that we need it, we are going to be consistently driven by the need to get this thing. We just got to get it. And so since we'll have a little bit of it, it's like, oh man, this feels really nice. I know that I can get more though. Like I know you can do more. You have some people who have their own struggles in life. So they have with their wall up, it's like steel coated. And it's okay, well, we ain't gonna put that down. Like, how are we gonna get through this? And sometimes that is also a sense of that hope. Like I know that there's more there. I actively know it, and I know that you also have this wall up. So I'm gonna either trust me enough to do it. Put it down.
What's his name? Gabor Mate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know him?
Mm-mm.
Love him. Love him, love him, love him. He's a trauma theorist and therapist. And I was supposed to see him in Oxford when I went.
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the things he says, and damn, did it hit home, is the easiest way to identify childhood trauma in people is their willingness to chase after love from someone who's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is very telling.
Right? If I can get you to love me, then I'm lovable because you're so difficult.
Yeah. Because I've won. I've beat whatever it was that you were giving this love to. That's a pretty profound statement there.
It's so simplified, but isn't it true?
It's 100% true. Yeah. It really is. You really don't think.
Because that's all of my relationships.
Yeah.
So difficult, so unnecessarily difficult.
Yes.
And I'm not even saying that they're bad people. They're not somewhere, but not all of them. And it was their wounds. It was their wounding. It was all the things that I recognized in them that were within me. And if I have been able to learn to still give love and heal and all of that, then you'll be able to too. And let me show you the way.
And so on that, so if I give up
right
on you, then I'm saying to myself that I don't have what it takes to get you to this point.
Right.
So, excuse me, that again takes us to that, or back to that point of what is it really saying about me? If I drop this relationship because I know it's just not effective, then what am I doing so wrong here? Maybe I am the problem. So we keep going. And then we just into the pit at that point. Preventable. But you have to also start to separate yourself from what's actually happening as an identity. Like separate your identity from what's actually happening. It's even if you recognize that you are participating in whatever this cycle is, you can still live your own life and have a healthier life without staying in this cycle. But if it's all that you know, that's a nearly impossible move to make because it's so scary. The question is, if it's even worth it.
Well, and I still struggle with that, right? I still struggle with giving to others because that's what I would want them to give to me.
Yes.
I wrote either a chapter in a book on it or something where I hate the golden rule.
Yeah.
Absolutely hate it because in theory, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sentiment. But in relationships where it's not reciprocated, it's a trap.
Yeah.
Where you keep giving to others the way you would want them to give back to you without recognizing that they're not going to.
Yeah.
Either because that's not naturally who they are, that's not naturally how they love, that's not the way they show up for the world. You know, when you're in a relationship where, like mine, and then I get pissed off and then I'm angry, not even at them. I'm angry at myself for wanting something that you've shown me repeatedly you're not going to give. But then still hoping to do it and then sacrificing. It's the one thing that I always teach. You can't sacrifice in relationships. That's another common saying. You know, relationships, love is sacrifice. No, the fuck it's not.
Relationships require sacrifice.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because sacrifice means one person gives up.
Yeah, give up another thing. Yeah.
And while the other does not. And I don't believe in that. I do believe in compromise. Everything needs to be compromised.
Yes.
I will show up this way and you will show up this way. And then we build something different with what we have in a situation. But there's no giving up something that's one-sided because then it becomes over and over again that one-sidedness.
It can be, yeah. I think there's a little bit of sacrifice that, like it's a little bit, that can be, I guess, beneficial to the relationship, but it's really more around life changes for the betterment of.
Which is compromise.
So it's a little different.
Which is, in definition for me, is compromise.
So I'm thinking compromise as each person is doing something.
Right. So for example, if, let's take something that has absolutely no emotional value to it, dancing. I love dancing, right? I love everything about it.
Yeah.
You know, social dancing. It's a technique, it's a skill, it's connection, right? It's fun, it's all the things.
Yeah.
And let's say my partner doesn't. a lot of people, especially my culture, would say, then you don't need to do it.
Right.
That's sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Compromise in that situation would be this person doesn't like to dance or doesn't know how to dance or whatever, and then they take classes so that they can do a little bit in the home. So then I still get that dancing.
Yeah.
And then that person takes me out.
Yeah.
Or another type of compromise would be, I don't dance. I don't like to dance. I don't want to dance. You go have fun. I'll either go with you and I'll do something. I'll eat, I'll drink, I'll watch sports while you're frolicking around dancing and having a great time. Or you go, you do your thing, have fun.
Yeah, so a compromise doesn't have to be we're each actively giving. It can be a sense of like autonomy in a way. We both have our own spaces, and I'm okay with that. Versus sacrifice tends to come with what I unfortunately have seen a little common. It comes with a sense of resentment when we do a lot of the sacrifice. So it's
because you're having to give up something that matters to you.
Yeah,
that's sacrifice. If you gave up something, like if I no, I was gonna say if I gave up sugar and sweets, and as I'm drinking sugar in my cup, that's not going to work. Again, there's nothing that I can say that I would give up. That if it didn't matter to me, then it's not even a compromise. It's not a sacrifice. With chips, for example, I'm not big on chips.
Yeah.
Right. Or cookies. Not big on either one of those two. So if someone's like, okay, stop doing that, that's not a sacrifice to me.
No, it's not.
Sacrifice is something that holds meaning and holds value.
Yeah.
And then you give it up. Right. And I don't feel like in a relationship that I don't think you can do that.
Yeah.
Because especially it does come with resentment.
Because it is so personal, it is a part of who you are.
Right. It matters to you.
You can really cut that out, especially to your point, not have anything in return. It's not going to match it, obviously, but to not even have like some form of effort on the other side to make it worthwhile or even understandable is I think is why we have that resentment come up. Because oftentimes it's not done anything on the other side. It's just I just dropped this thing and then we just keep going on with our lives.
Right. Yeah. And the other person's just supposed to take it.
Yeah. Be happy with this because I'm happy with this thing.
Right.
My dad gave me an example of my mom. Excuse me. Obviously this is like way back in the day. She was someone that like if he was getting ready to go out like with his friends, she'd be like, no. Like I'm so sad. I just don't want you to go. I just want to watch movies all day. And my dad is like, I'm just going up the street to the garage. Like it's fine. And she's like, no. So my dad's like, okay. I'll sit here with you and just literally sit here and do this all day long because that's where you want me to be. But my mom is like, I'm going to the rink, bye. And he's like, okay, bye. And so at some point he recognizes like, okay, this
that he sacrificed
is not working because I'm missing out on the thing that is important to me. And it's
social connection is a biological need.
And it's even with that, I think the additional level there is like at the time, South Carolina was becoming a bit more multicultural. So finding people that is more within your group, and that's not the same as what you see in corporate America.
Right.
It's like, oh, I kind of feel like I might belong somewhere or up in here. Cool. So it's very meaningful and very important. And so I think when my mom recognized that, she felt crazy guilt because she realized, dang, I'm just like having you sit here to just do nothing. And even that within itself, the person has to recognize the why this is important. Of like, I didn't realize I was doing this thing, or I didn't realize it was so important to you, or something of that nature. And it's like, well, how could you not? It's this and that. But there's a recognition that comes with it. But you have to, or they have to, be able to be honest with themselves, which is very, very, very rare to happen.
Awareness. Everything is about self-awareness.
Yeah.
And yes, we're therapists. We believe in therapy, obviously. But I don't know any other way. If you're not aware of what you do and why you're doing it, it's literally defining and labeling your life. And you're just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah. I will say some of my clients will ask me, do you really do that? And yeah, obviously you have to be careful with like what you disclose for self-disclosure, but it's like for one of the things that I talk about when it comes to boundaries and being able to just like cut people off, my answer is yeah.
Snip, snip, motherfucker.
I've already done it. I don't know what y'all want me to say. Like, did you really do? Yes, I did because after obviously years of learning and things, my understanding is I've done what I could do, and I've done what I was supposed to do. If I give anything else, I'm giving myself, and that is just, I'm not doing that anymore. So this is, if it's not a mutual situation here, what are we doing?
I was in my 30s before I was like, this friendship is not a good friendship.
No.
I don't want to keep feeding this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, okay, you're right, that makes sense, or you're right, I'm sorry. It was, how can you be this way?
Yeah.
Don't you do this, and don't you do that, and don't you feel this? And
definitely
can't
trying
you understand?
to make them understand. There's nothing to understand.
And then again, but the extent of how long it took me to get to the point to say this is not a good friendship.
Yeah.
It was years of setting boundaries, of this hurts my feelings, you don't show up for me, you didn't even come for this, and blah,
well,
blah, blah.
Of course, because you don't want to lose a friendship. So the idea is, I'm going to, again, put in this effort to try to still make this thing work for me and for us, but really for me too, mainly.
Yeah.
But it ain't moving.
Right.
The more I try, it seems that the more it's not happening. So this is actually worse for me as I'm trying to make it better. It's actively getting worse.
And that grief of cutting someone out is intense.
Yes. Always said there's no such thing as you're not going to be sad, because grief is the sadness of a loss. So you're losing the relationship, so you will be sad.
And what it could have been. What it, not even what it was, but what it could have been.
Yes.
And then there's also what I teach is, what did this person represent? Yeah. It's not always the person that we grieve,
right?
But it's the attributes that was in them that we did get and benefit from, that we're having to give up because the balance wasn't there.
Yeah.
And if you never had that growing up, or if this is the first experience you have of something like that, you have no other schema, no other example in your mind of this exists, so I can find it somewhere else. So that's why also people don't let it go, because I don't know if I'm going to get anybody better because I haven't experienced anyone better.
Yeah. Whether it be from my family members or just outside world, all I have is TV, and I know TV is not real. So this is not real for me.
Right.
That's very true. I do have a lot of that. I see that a lot, whether it be in real life or through books or whatever. It's that infamous question of like, okay, so then what? So I do this, and then everything's just going to be okay. I'm going to find another person. I'm going to find another friend. I'm going to do another job. Yes.
Yes,
you absolutely will. And my mom is so hard. Ooh, that's a tough lady right there. So one of her models to us was, you need to learn how to cry and walk. Not feeling good, need to, all right, pick it up, cry and walk. You still got work to do. Bye. It was just always so, and so growing up and obviously like tailoring that to be a bit more of a swallow. It is a practice I still use today. It's like I'm gonna have to just cry and walk though, because it's not about not being sad. It's not about not feeling the emotion. It's about choosing yourself. So we're going to accept the person for who they are, or accept the thing for what it is. We have to also accept everything that comes with that, good or bad. So if we're not going to accept it, we cry and walk. If we're going to accept it, you work with that.
Yeah. You know, and I think it's popular conversation about what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
Is if the values aren't aligning, then you need to let them go and then choose yourself, and then, someone else will show up. And the reason why we can say that is like, whenever I got a new car, I've never noticed that car on the road before.
Right.
Right. My dad and I might have already shared this story, but we chase each other. Right. I'll be like, is that him? Is that Antonio?
Yeah.
It is. I should just memorize his license plate at this point.
Yeah, I should.
Because we just drive up next to each other. We're like, is that you? Right. And he does it, and he's done this to me since I was a teenager. So, we just do that, and it's funny. But whenever he gets a new car, then all of a sudden I see that car everywhere.
Right.
I don't, and then before then I couldn't have even told you if I ever saw that car.
Right.
The same thing with mine. He's like, when you changed your car, now I see that car, that color everywhere.
Everywhere.
And that is how what we focus on, what we pay attention to, what we put emphasis on, what we put value on, that's what we see. Yeah. We see more and more of that. So if we are able to do that with the good things, we'll see more and more. Our brain will then recognize, and all of the energy goes into paying attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
If we're focusing on the negative parts, then you see more and more of that. Everything that we focus on validates our belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And our brain is created and designed to give the mirror neurons, right?
Yeah.
They mirror back what you're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean, again, I don't believe in toxic positivity.
No.
We don't do that. Like, if I'm frustrated, I'm frustrated. When we started this, I told y'all, like, oh my God, it's been a day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has been. And then, right? So this and.
Mm-hmm.
So I can recognize the frustrations. I can recognize the annoyances in life. I can recognize the disappointments in life, and also choose to blink.
Yes.
Right? We do both, the whole spectrum, the good and
gosh.
bad and everything, because one or the other is not accurate reflection of your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, I think that's also very important for value systems, right? When we're looking for a particular value, then you pay attention to that. You live your life according to that. And then if this person isn't, recognize that immediately there is an imbalance there. So then they don't need to be there in that degree.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Next.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, next.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people complain that this is cancel culture.
Yeah.
I don't, again, why is not being disappointed and hurt repeatedly by someone who's consistently showing you that they can't show up for you? Why is saying thank you next, thanking them for what they did offer, and then recognizing it doesn't work, and then moving on from that? Why is that negative? That's only negative for people who refuse to change and grow. Because in a relationship, you can have, our values are not aligned in this, that, and the other.
Right.
And have the, again, if it's not natural, that's a different story, right? But if it's close enough, then it could be a behavior change where compromise is then used.
Yes.
Right? If you know timing is important to me, and you know you're going to be late, then not notifying 3 minutes or 7 minutes before you're supposed to be here, making sure if I know an hour before that I'm going to be late, to let you know. But that's a behavior change. I could be consistently just, Asian Standard Time. I could be that. It doesn't matter. The need then is the communication part of it, to let the other person know.
Yeah.
So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who, for example, I'm a natural, I don't know, my sister would disagree probably, but most people say I'm very nurturing.
Yeah.
My sister probably would not.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want someone who also is nurturing in that way, and someone who's just not, they don't go through life paying attention to how they're behaving, that considerateness, right, is not at the forefront or a very important value of theirs. That's not going to be something that can ever give me that fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that person's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't work for me because it's so opposite from who I am and what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Right? For some people, they don't need that. I am one of those that I do.
I definitely need it.
So that's what I'm talking about. People, it's very easily talked about at the extremes.
Yeah.
Right? How, yes, cut them out. But what if it's not extreme? And you still recognize, right, that this isn't working.
Yeah.
I feel like that's so much harder.
Yes, and that's part of the reason why we stay in spaces that we really probably don't need to be in.
Because it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
But that bad doesn't make it good.
It does not make it good, but also still does not make it bad. And so for some people, it's kind of like the difference between getting a Chips Ahoy cookie and a baked cookie up the street. For them, it's like, I'm probably going to like that baked cookie better, but I'm also not going to just stop buying Chips Ahoy and just always go to this bakery. So there's this very thin line, and it is a lot of gray area in that space. And if my clients see this, one of the things I always tell them is 2 things can be true. And I'm always like, okay, this not one of those moments. Or sometimes I will say 2 things are true here. But it is important to understand that, because things are, I think, as we're going through, I guess, the times, things are so black and white, and people are trying to make things be so black and white, and not a lot of things are just straight black and white. especially when it comes to relationships.
Unless it's abuse,
Unless it's
that's
abuse,
black and white,
right? So again, there are things that are black and white, and then there are some things that are a little gray. But you know what those things are. I do believe, like innately, we know what it is. It's the first thing that you feel. As soon as you feel it, that is the answer. You just
you recoil.
You wanna
internally you recoil.
Yeah, you wanna verify. You wanna make sure. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You just wanna make sure. You like the shirt, the mall. Well, let me just see if there's anything else in here that I might like more than. And let me see if there's something else that might be less than expensive. You always want to there's always this need to like double check because there is a need for assurance. And sometimes it's not even like I just don't trust myself. Sometimes it's just I just want to make sure. But oftentimes, oftentimes it is that space of like I have to know. And that need to know is what keeps us in the cycle sometimes too. In those relationships where there's this gray area where it's like I'm not getting this thing. So then we try to compensate or try to find a way of compensating to say, well then what can they do to make up for this absence? And then every once in a while that can work. But a lot of times it ain't gonna work. So you have to really think about what is important to you. If you know that you need this consideration, one of my the things I've learned over time obviously is do not ignore me. I absolutely despise it. That's the fastest way for me to drop you. And I will never speak to you again. Because
what about the ignoring is the problem?
Because it's beyond being inconsiderate. For me it's a level of disrespect that's almost like it's gonna be super, super raw, y'all. But it's almost like a bitch, I don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
And that's how powerful it feels for me. So when because you don't need to ignore me. Now, when I tell my clients I'm dropping folks and I'm out, I've already talked.
Right.
I've already said what needs to be said. If you decide not to have a reciprocated conversation with me, whether it's through text or we're talking, and you don't want to say anything, I have nothing. I've said the thing. I put it out there. I've said the wrongness, or I've apologized, or whatever. And there's still this need to almost hang it over me. We're done. So I'm not not saying nothing. I'm always going to say. My dad is the one that said don't say nothing, but I am going to always say. That's just how I am. I'm not going to talk about it forever though. We're not going to have a long drawn out conversation.
Right. How many creative ways do you need to express the same hurt?
Yeah. So this is just it. We're either going to discuss it and work through it, or we're just not. But once I'm ignored, there's like this level of neglect that to me I cannot get past.
Yep.
Because then that feels like I cannot trust you because you really don't give a fuck about me.
Right.
So I'm not going to do that. So that is important. One of those things that it has to be there. Don't say anything. Don't say not. Don't do that. Give me something. I don't care if it's we'll talk about it later. I don't care if it's whatever. Just to say absolutely nothing. The worst. But you have to know the things about yourself because then you'll be looking for that person to just up and change without really having any type of context there. So there is a part of that of what is going to be your line. Where are your limits going to be? Because otherwise you'll be in a relationship that you just fully resent for a long time because there's so many things just adding up.
Right.
So there's no need for that. So yeah, we can accept people for who they are, deal with things as they present, but you decide how long you really want to do that. And you decide what it is that you want to eat. Everybody's poop is going to be super, super, super funky. You got to decide though, can you deal with that funk? That's really it.
Right.
There is no perfect person. So even when we're doing like our episodes here, even when I'm in sessions, I'm very mindful to remind the clients and people in general, we're not looking for perfection.
Right.
We're not looking for get this person that does this and this and this and they're gonna meet all your needs. It's not a thing and it's not realistic.
Right.
We're looking for, like you said, are you matching? Are we having shared values? These core things that are imperative.
And do we have 20?
Yeah, I'm gonna say either if you don't have them, is there a way that we can still blend it? Is it a puzzle that we can still put together, or this is just whatever?
Well, because if it's 80-20, right, then 80% of the values would be very important values. They align.
They're good.
Right? And not just, family is important to me and family is important to them. No, it's how we define family is important.
Girl, yes.
That it's the specific definition of how we define these values.
Yes.
that's what people don't do. That's what I didn't do. You know, my first marriage, it was, oh yeah, family is important to us. And then I quickly learned that the way he defined family is important to me is very different from how I define family is important to me. His definition was family can do whatever and you still stick around, and family can treat you however, and you just need to take it. And that's not how I define family is important. My definition is family is important, so you give them the utmost respect and time and love and all of that. They come first in that way, where you treat them so well that they never question your standing in their life. Very different.
Definitely.
But family is important.
Yes.
Right? So how you define it is very, very important. And some people will be like, yeah, it is. In my clients, they're like, I think so. I think 80-20. The pieces that fall in the 20 cannot be.
They cannot.
One of the things that pick at a childhood wound.
It is not.
So neglect being one. If someone shuts down and pulls away from her or me, we both share that, right?
Yeah.
Then that's a core childhood wound. That cannot be a 20%.
No.
Because the heaviness, the weight of that value is so significant. It's not a 20%.
No.
Right? So you have to know, again, the weight of those values as well, not just, I think we share the same things. No, we don't. And then what does that look like? And how does that show up for us?
Yeah.
And if you have a visceral reaction, it is no longer a 20%.
No. And and again, we just know, you feel it right then.
Because it's a physical, visceral reaction. You know, for me, it's gaslighting. Gaslighting constitutes 10 different behaviors, by the way. It's not, people use it as like this one thing, and it's not
generalization thing. Oh my gosh.
We have deflection, we have rewriting history, we have denial. There's all kinds of defense mechanisms in what constitutes being gaslighting. But one of the things in that will set me off every time is when people, if like we're talking about a specific example, I gave you this one specific example about family. And then they go bring another example from an unrelated situation without the same themes and try to use that to discount what you just said.
Yeah.
Right? And then hiding behind, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Either that or I can't be wrong, and that shit. Oof.
Because I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's a part
for me, this is what this is. That makes sense. Okay. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. I have no problem saying I don't know something. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That was a misunderstanding. I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
But someone who then tries to discount what I'm saying
Oof.
by using it, it's like, I'm talking about apples. You bring in a fucking tangerine.
Well, they're still fruit. Fuck you. Ooh, girl, it'd be deep.
Yes.
If they did, because you know what you're doing.
But why, right? The why behind it is because not only are you trying to dismiss what I'm saying, you're minimizing the intensity of what I just said by using an irrelevant just example right there. And then you're trying to act like I'm not smart enough to know the difference.
It's disrespect.
And a lot of people don't stop to break it down in that way. What about this behavior, about what was done? Why did that trigger me?
Yeah.
Because you gaslit me. What does that mean? Don't deflect the situation. Don't minimize the situation. Don't, red herring, right? Fallacy. Like all these things instead of just taking what's presented.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about this cup of coffee and then you talk about the carafe of, tea over there, it's the same thing. We're not talking about what we're talking about.
Right.
And that's manipulation, right? Using something instead of addressing what's in front of you and then trying to say, well, I'm trying to be devil's advocate. I hate that saying.
I hate it so much.
And it makes me so angry because then I don't trust you. And the reason I don't trust you is because if you're playing devil's advocate, you're trying to come up with somebody else's ideas and ideals and things like that just to argue a point, then what do you stand for?
Yeah.
And if I can't trust what you stand for, if I don't know who you are and what you stand for, triggered.
Yeah.
Because again, I've had enough people like that in my life where they're chameleons. They become whatever they need to be to get what they want. And typically what they wanted was a relationship and me and all the things that they thought it was going to come with, but it wasn't them.
Yeah.
I fell for people that weren't who they were.
Yeah.
So someone saying, oh, well, that's not really how I think, I was just being devil's advocate. It's so disrespectful, and then I just cannot trust you. I lose faith in you, I lose trust in you, and I lose respect in that person.
Yeah.
Because just stand for what you believe in and fight for what you believe in.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't know what you stand for, you won't know what to fall for.
Yeah. It can be seen as like a form of a disguise. I sometimes see it that way because it's like, why are you even having to fight me at all? If you don't agree, just say, well, I don't know about that.
And
What
this
about
is
this?
why.
Yeah, and then again, what conversation? We're not looking to debate. So I think when we roll into, we hear that often. It bothers me because I think it. Whenever I hear it, I'm not one to be back and forth. I don't do that. I can get very, very, very angry. So I don't do back and forth because once I'm at a certain level, I can't control myself, so I don't do it. So when the person is doing this devil advocacy, I take it personal of like, why are you fighting me though?
Right.
Why do you feel the need to fight me in this moment?
Right.
You could just say, well, it might rain tomorrow, so then what do we need to bring the rain? Like, whatever it is, but it doesn't need to be that. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, then if you said this and it's that, at that point, I'm taking it as like this attack
because it's a point to discount what you just said.
And it's so I hate that little taking every single thing I'm saying, the nitpicking, all of those things. I don't get wrapped up in that because for one, you lose the plot, like you were saying. And then also we end up focusing on defending of the self, and we never really resolve whatever is happening or whatever was brought up in the first place, or it gets blown out of proportion totally.
Right.
So yes, there is a piece of knowing within yourself of why these things are so important. And if you're going to be with someone, even if it's a friendship, you have to know why this is important
and be okay with. They might say this doesn't fit well with what I believe in.
Yeah.
And this is not the kind of friendship. It's that kind of rejection. I think people do that behavior because they're afraid of rejection.
Yes.
So they talk out of their ass, right, to make points, just to make points that hopefully will hit something that maybe will or maybe won't. But then hide behind, well, I was just doing this. The reason they said I'm just saying this to me then is because you don't want to be rejected for what you believe in.
Yeah. So that's also why it's like I can't take you to truth because this sounds like this is what you really want to say.
Right.
But you're just hiding behind this thing right here. Right. That's a problem for me. I don't mind disagreeing. I don't mind having difference of opinions. I don't mind. Well, depending on what it is. I don't mind it. But don't try to play me with manipulation with it.
Because it's manipulation.
That's my number. I think that's probably number 2 for me. Playing me? Girl. That's also part 2.
Again, trust.
Jesus, right? Have mercy. Yes. And so because of that, I've had relationships where the manipulation, even the parents got involved, and it just became just so. I'm super young, so I'm just learning all of the things, and but again, even though I don't know what to call it, I feel that it's wrong.
Right.
I know that it's wrong, and I'm like, I have to get out of this. This is just not working.
Right.
And so, older now, years way years later, I'm able to understand it for what it was. And that's part of the reason why those type of things bother me so deeply, because a part of me is like, I'm still naive in some ways, and
we're always learning
genuineness, I guess, because it's like in that naivety of my genuineness, it's like, why did you have to do that to me though?
Yeah,
that's a big question that I have often when things are going on, disrespect, violation, whatever. But why would you do that to me though? I have not done something to make you do that. But then again, now being here, I take a step back and I think, if I didn't do something to perpetuate that, that's just them.
Right.
So now it's up to me to determine what I want to do with this relationship right here, because this ain't working for me.
Right.
I cannot expose myself or allow myself to be exposed in that way again.
Right.
So what am I going to do here versus having these long drawn out conversations and trying to get to understand this and just like what you have shown me, and we've seen it in a lot of movies. So again, we watch a lot of like mafia movies. So we see a lot where there's nothing to say because you're doing what you need to do for me to understand what's going on in real time.
Right.
There's nothing to discuss. Because
Like,
if you
let them show you who they are and then accept it.
Accept that.
We struggle with that.
Accept that.
So much. We struggle with accepting them for who they are.
Yes, because why are you like this? Why can't you just be like this? We could be so great.
The we could be so great part. One of my recent, really heated conversations where it became like a back and forth because I had gotten triggered. And normally, like, man, we're not doing this. But it became a back and forth because my subconscious, right, when I sat down and processed after it was over, was you cannot be this way. And then please tell me I didn't do this to myself again.
Yeah.
Right? Because what does that say about you? If this person ends up being this way and I trusted you and I was vulnerable with you and I loved you and I did all these things and I was fooled again, or really again, right? So the response isn't just from what they just did or what they just said. It's also all the internal things that we struggle with that bubbles up to the surface to fight.
Yeah.
Right. And the way we fight is very different for different people. But mine became literally, I need to hear something different come out your mouth right now because this cannot be who you are.
Yeah.
Because then it will validate, here I am all over again after so many years in my 40s. Here we are again, not learning your lesson.
Yeah.
And then what do you do to cope with that? Right?
Because you don't want to start second guessing all your things moving forward in life.
Right.
Do I really like this wine? Did I really want to do this book? Anything. Right. You don't want to start second guessing. You have to.
But that's why you need to have that other person, whether it's a friend, whether it's a colleague, that it's, like, we're colleagues. So we share that intimate space together and trust each other to grow and things like that. And the other people that I've ever worked with is the same thing. It's not just another person at the office for me. It's sacred, almost, the relationships and the energy that we form there. So if there's that disagreement, there has to be something that the other person can then do and know how to do and be aware of enough to repair, to make that repair. And then do they? Yeah. Because then that's also another thing of accepting people for who they are. Are they capable of making repair? Are they willing to make repair? Are they where you need them to be? Yeah. And if those are no, then what are we doing? Yeah, what are we doing? Because the intensity of the damage that's done to the person, which would be me in this situation, is significant, right? And then rebuilding from that damage over and over and over again is what deteriorates the love in any relationship. Yeah. It's the same with my children, right? Whenever we have any kind of major disagreement, because I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, right? And they have adult emotions without the actual tether between the emotional part of the brain and the prefrontal cortex, right? They don't have, the tether isn't built yet fully. It doesn't connect until you're 18. Yeah. So they don't have the binding between the two. And whenever something that's said or done is so hurtful, right? I have to then be able to communicate why and how for them to be able to understand it, but then also teach them how to reciprocate that information, that vulnerability, what to do with it. And yes, it's heavy for a 15 and 17-year-old to have to be able to know how to do that. But if they don't learn this, that's why you have grown-ass adults now who don't know how to make repair. You're going to be babying grown-ass adults. And training season is over. Don't have time for that. We can't keep training people to meet us where they need to be. That's not your responsibility. Yeah, not for the basics anyway. And love has nothing to do with it. What's love got to do with it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I have loved so many people, and I love intensely and deeply because I have a lot of love to give. And if I decide that this person cannot be in my life anymore, it's not because the love is gone. It's just because I cannot be on the receiving end of that, the wounding repeatedly anymore. Because then I don't get to be who I need to be to show up in the world the way I need to show up in the world. Yeah. And it really is just that simple when it's not simple at all. Yeah. On paper. In theory. In theory, it's simple. Yeah. In practice, it's impossible nearly. But it can be done, and it should be done because you
have
are
to.
worth it.
Yeah, always, always, always. We have to grow from the past and not allow our past to determine who we are presently or who we're going to be in the future. You allow yourself to learn, recognize for what it is, but we're not holding on to those kind of ideologies from before
Right.
that have gotten us in these uncomfortable spaces.
Right.
You just learn.
And for many of us, the very, very hard way.
Yeah.
But yeah. So thank you for sitting with us and listening to us. And hopefully you got something out of it, and we'll be able to reflect on what all of this means for you.
Yeah. We'll see y'all next time.